Looking at all of the efforts today to transform the economy, it's really impressive. The issue of how do we prototype these next economies? How do we actually develop them so that they move to become what we call the early majority, to become the new norm? That's particularly what Bounce Beyond is focused on. We're at a time in our world where there's multiple crises. I think we're all aware of that. And we need urgently to address these crises because they're moving quickly. The crises have a lot to do with the way we organize our economy and the structure of the economy, the values that are embedded in the economy. It's got to be changed. The very structure and the values that are reflected in our economy have to be changed. We're at a time when we can actually do this because we have sufficient knowledge now about transformation processes. So we can undertake purposeful transformation now. 10 years ago, we didn't have this knowledge. People need to tap into the great transformational knowledge that we have now to really move and transform our economies as quickly as possible to address these multiple crises. One of the core insights is around something we call transformation systems. Usually change has been undertaken either as an initiative or with a small group of people. What we understand now is that there's a whole collection of initiatives that are arising to realize transformation, and we can think of them as forming transformation systems around a particular place, like changing the food system, around a particular geography, like maybe your hometown. And we can actually organize and create coherence between all of these initiatives because any transformation requires many different initiatives and energy coming from many places if it's the transformation is going to be successful. It's about how to bring coherence between them that we now understand. We can think in terms of organizing transformation systems, and we can act to bring greater coherence and power of all of the collective initiatives than we understood how to do before. One of the key elements of the new norm is what we call next economies infrastructure. And this is emerging in different places in different parts of the world around different issues. We think of an economy as having some core elements to it to be able to actually produce productively and has a value set behind the logic of production. So when you think of currencies, people usually don't think of currencies as being designed, but they are designed. And we've got to embed the design with the value system that we're aiming for with the future. So we can see new currencies emerging, such as seeds. This is what we mean by infrastructure. We can see new marketplaces emerging. We can see ecosystem services emerging. We can see new businesses, such as ones that are controlled by multi-stakeholders rather than shareholders. These are all examples of the next economy that people are experimenting with in different parts of the world. It's like the plumbing for the economy. We've got to bring the different parts of the plumbing system together. And it's one of the major roles of Bounce Beyond is to work with the local economies where these innovations are emerging, to bring in other innovations so that we'll have a comprehensive connection and plumbing system for this next economy. Key in the development of the next economies is their value basis. What is this all about? What is an economy for? So it's about producing the well-being and the happiness, the working with nature in a different way. So we think of it as a regenerative relationship rather than an exploitive relationship that will give economies that give rise and support our highest aspirations and highest potential. So it's not going to eliminate competition, but to put competition in a place of a collective cooperative undertaking that we're all developing as people working in the economy. So it's about creating a world that's grounded in a new set of values and a new understanding of what's possible and a new set of goals that go beyond the goals of accumulation of material well-being and get into the diversity, the equality, the support for people to have a flourishing future, both individually and collectively. People are creating a new meta story about what the world's about. It's moving from the story of the GNP and economic wealth generation in a financial sense or the accumulation sense to a story about how we share together, how we collaborate, how we work to support each other's happiness and achieve our own. Thinking of what our highest aspirations are rather than a story simply of accumulation of as many goods as possible. And how do we create that sort of society? That's a truly a transformational goal. And we see lots of people around the world working for that goal. So Bounce Beyond is focused upon supporting their experimentation, their prototyping, and connecting their core prototype inventions in terms of next economy's infrastructure to bring them together to be able to really give birth to this next economy for the majority of us.